For years, it was the dream match that lived only in the digital halls of WWE 2K and the fervent imaginations of the wrestling world, a clash of cultures, a collision of eras, and a sheer, unadulterated massacre of the human spirit. But as of tonight, the dream has transformed into a living, breathing nightmare for anyone standing in the way of a ring. Welcome back to Wrestling Apocalypse, where the landscape of professional wrestling doesn't just change, it burns. If you're watching this right now, take a deep breath, because the match that everyone said was impossible, the match that has been teased since that fateful, bone-chilling face-off at the 2023 Royal Rumble, is finally, officially, a reality. The ring general, Gunther, has stepped out of the shadows of Monday Night Raw and has formally accepted the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar's WrestleMania Open Challenge. This isn't just a match. It is a declaration of war between the most dominant intercontinental champion in history and the most destructive force to ever set foot in a combat sports arena. The atmosphere in the building tonight felt less like a wrestling show and more like a high-tension waiting room in a storm. For weeks, Brock Lesnar has been a ghost, haunting the periphery of the WWE, leaving behind a trail of broken tables and shattered spirits. When he laid out the open challenge for anyone with a soul to lose at the Showcase of the Immortals, we all speculated. Would it be a returning legend? A hungry young lion from NXT? But in our hearts, we only wanted one name. We wanted the man who treats the mat like a sacred altar and the chop like a religious experience. The segment started with Brock Lesnar standing in the center of the ring, looking like a man who had outgrown the very concept of a professional athlete. He didn't have a microphone at first, he just stood there, bouncing on the balls of his feet, the terrifying, predatory grin plastered across his face. When he finally spoke, his voice carried that high-pitched, gravelly edge that signifies someone is about to get hurt. He looked at the WrestleMania sign, he looked at the camera, and he asked the question that made the world stop spinning: is there a man left in that locker room, or just a bunch of boys? The silence that followed was suffocating. 10 seconds felt like 10 years. And then, it didn't start with a theme song. It started with a sound that has become the heartbeat of fear on Monday nights: the rhythmic, slow, melodic swell of the New World Symphony. The arena didn't just explode, it vibrated. Out stepped Gunther, flanked by the unwavering loyalty of Ludwig Kaiser. But as Gunther reached the top of the ramp, he did something we almost never see. He signaled for Kaiser to stay back. This was not an Imperium moment. This was a ring general moment. Gunther's walk down that ramp was a masterclass in psychological warfare. He didn't run. He didn't play to the fans. He kept his eyes locked on Lesnar, his hands behind his back, his posture as straight as a bayonet. When he stepped over that top rope, he didn't back down. He walked right into Brock's chest. The visual was enough to give you goosebumps. Two men carved out of granite, representing the absolute pinnacle of physical dominance. Brock was laughing, that manic "I'm going to eat you alive" laugh, while Gunther remained a statue of cold, Austrian steel. Gunther grabbed a microphone, and his words were short, surgical, and final. He didn't talk about finishing a story. He didn't talk about respect. He looked Brock Lesnar in those icy eyes and said, "The mat is sacred. And at WrestleMania, I will use your body to prove it." He dropped the mic, and for a split second, the world held its breath for a brawl. But Gunther did something even more insulting. He simply turned his back on the Beast and walked out. He didn't need to strike first, he had already won the psychological battle of the night. Backstage, the fallout was instantaneous. Our sources at Wrestling Apocalypse have been hearing reports that the locker room was in a state of collective shock. Several veterans were seen whispering in the hallway, claiming they had never seen anyone stand up to Brock Lesnar with that much calm authority. There is a sense of holy shift energy radiating through the production crew. Even the referees are reportedly worried about the sheer physicality of this encounter. We're talking about two men who don't know how to pull a punch. This is going to be a stiff, brutal affair that will likely leave the WrestleMania ring needing repairs. The fan perspective is reaching a fever pitch. Social media is currently a battleground of theories. One side is saying that Gunther's technical prowess and his ability to endure pain will finally be the undoing of the Beast. They point to his record-breaking Intercontinental title reign, his win over Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, and his sheer tactical brilliance. But the other side? They remind us that this is Brock Lesnar. This is the man who ended the streak. This is the man who turned Suplex City into a global phenomenon. They argue that once Gunther feels the first overhead belly-to-belly, the ring general persona will crumble under the weight of F5S. But think about the stakes for Gunther. He has spent the last 2 years rebuilding the prestige of the Intercontinental Championship, turning it into the workhorse title once again. But to truly transcend, he needs a scalp like Lesnar's. A win at WrestleMania over the Beast Incarnate doesn't just make Gunther a star, it makes him a legend. It places him in the stratosphere of the all-time greats. On the flip side, for Brock, this is about defending his territory. He is the original end boss of the WWE. If he loses to Gunther, the aura of the Beast is officially passed on. We have to talk about the physical toll this match is going to take. Gunther's chops are legendary, we've seen them leave welts on the toughest men in the business. But Brock's skin is like leather, and he thrives on the taste of his own blood. Imagine the sound of Gunther's palm hitting Brock's chest in a stadium of 80,000 people. It's going to sound like a gunshot. Imagine Brock hoisting the massive frame of the ring general for a German suplex. This isn't just a wrestling match, it's an elemental struggle between two predators who have forgotten what it feels like to be the prey. As we look toward the showcase of the Immortals, the question isn't just who will win, it's what will be left of them. This is the apocalypse we've been waiting for. The dream match has arrived at our doorstep, and it brought a sledgehammer with it. We're going to be tracking every workout video, every backstage whisper, and every training camp update leading into this collision. We've got analysts looking at the tape of their Royal Rumble face-off, trying to find the tiny cracks in their armor that the other might exploit. This is the peak of our industry. This is why we watch. Not for the scripts, not for the gimmicks, but for the moments where two warriors decide to find out who the better man truly is. Gunther has accepted the challenge. Brock has found his equal. And WrestleMania just became the site of a potential massacre. I want to hear from you, because the wrestling apocalypse community is the smartest in the world. Who are you backing? Are you going with the ring general and the technical brutality of the new era? Or are you staying loyal to the Beast and the chaotic power of Suplex City? Can Gunther survive the F5, or will Brock be the one to finally succumb to the Powerbomb Symphony? Drop your predictions, your Suplex vs Chop theories, and your excitement in the comments below. We read every single one, and tonight, we need your energy to process this absolute bomb that just dropped on the WWE. If your adrenaline is spiking as much as ours, hit that like button to show your support for the channel. It helps us keep the lights on while we navigate this road to WrestleMania. Smash that subscribe button and ring the bell, because you do not want to miss our emergency deep dive coming later this week, where we break down the history of these two and why this match might be the most important encounter of the last decade. The challenge is accepted, the contract is as good as signed, and the apocalypse is officially scheduled for WrestleMania. I've been your host for Wrestling Apocalypse. Watch your back, stay loud, and we'll see you at the next bell. For years, it was the dream match that lived only in the digital halls of WWE 2K and the fervent imaginations of the wrestling world, a clash of cultures, a collision of eras, and a sheer, unadulterated massacre of the human spirit. But as of tonight, the dream has transformed into a living, breathing nightmare for anyone standing in the way of a ring. Welcome back to Wrestling Apocalypse, where the landscape of professional wrestling doesn't just change, it burns. If you're watching this right now, take a deep breath, because the match that everyone said was impossible, the match that has been teased since that fateful, bone-chilling face-off at the 2023 Royal Rumble, is finally, officially, a reality. The ring general, Gunther, has stepped out